Hi, I'm Julian Fadriga from ABM 11YA-9, and for today's video, I am going to teach you about operations on fractions, multiplication, and division. Let's get started.
In mathematics, a fraction is a number that represents a part of a whole. It consists of a numerator and a denominator. The numerator represents the number of equal parts of a whole, while the denominator is the total number of parts that make up the said whole. In fraction, we have our numerator, or the number on top, which is the number of parts we have, and we have the denominator, or that bottom number, which is the total parts in whole. There are three types of fractions. We have the proper fraction, the improper fraction, and a mixed number. First, we have proper fraction. A proper fraction is a type of fraction which the denominator or the top number is smaller than the denominator or the bottom number. We have examples like 1/5, 2/3, and 4/7. Second, we have improper fraction, which is the opposite of proper fraction, where the numerator is larger than the denominator. We have 7/5, 3/2, and 7/4 as examples. And the third type of fractions is the mixed number, where we have a fraction and a whole number. We have 2 and 1/5, 5 and 2/3, and 4 and 4/7 as examples. Now let's try to transform a mixed number to improper. We have 2 and 1/5. First, the denominator 5 will be multiplied to the whole number, which is 2. So 5 times 2 is equal to 10. And secondly, add the numerator. So 5 times 2 is equal to 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. Just simply put the 11 as the new numerator and just copy the denominator. There we have 11/5 or 11/5. Another example, let's transform 3 and 4/7 into a improper number. 7 times 3 is equal to 21 plus 4 is equal to 25. Simply put the 25 and just copy the denominator, which is 7. So we have 25/7. Try to solve these following mixed number, transform them into improper fraction. I will give you 5 seconds to answer all of these. You may pause this video. Here are the answers. For the first one, 3 and 1/5, let's just multiply 5 by 3. We have 15 plus 1 is equal to 16. And just copy the denominator, which is 5. And there we have our final answer, 16/5. For the second one, we have 5 and 2/3. Let's just multiply 3 by 5. We have 15 plus 2 is equal to 17. And just copy the denominator, which is 3, and we have 17/3. And lastly, we have 4 and 4/5. Just multiply 5 by 4. We have 20 plus 4 is equal to 24. And just copy again the denominator, which is 5. And there we have 24/5. Since we've managed to transform mixed number into improper fraction, how we do the opposite? It's just easy. We just have to divide the numerator by the denominator. Let's get started. We have 16/5. We have to transform that into mixed number. We just have to divide 16 by 5, which we have 3. And 3 times 5 is equal to 15. And 16 minus 15 is equal to 1. Just copy again the denominator. The remainder will be the new numerator, and the quotient will be our whole number. And there we have 3 and 1/5. Now it's your turn to try to transform this improper fraction into a mixed number. I will give you 5 seconds and you may pause this video. And here's our solution. 17 divided by 3 is equal to 5. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. 17 minus 15 is equal to 2. Again, copy the denominator, which is 3. The quotient will be our whole new number, And the remainder will be our numerator. There we have 5 and 2/3. Okay, let's get started with the real lesson. First, multiplication time. First, let's solve this 3 over 8 times 5 over 8. It's easy, you just have to multiply the numerator to numerator and the denominator to the denominator. 3 times 5 is equal to 15 and 8 times 8 is equal to 64. Think if there is simpler form than that or the lowest term, that's the lowest term, so that's the final answer. Next, let's solve this 4/5 times 3/5. Again, let's just repeat the steps earlier. 4 times 3 is equal to 12. 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Since there is no simpler form than that, that's our final answer. 12 over 25. Next, let's solve 1 over 4 times 5 over 6. Let's just repeat what we did earlier. 1 times 5 is equal to 5 and 4 times 6 is equal to 24. That's our final answer since there's no simpler form than that. Next one, 1/3 times 3/4. Just repeat the steps earlier. 1 times 3 is equal to 3 and 3 times 4 is equal to 12. But there is simpler form than that, which is 1 over 4. But there is actually a shortcut to that. Okay, let's go with this one. First, let's copy all of it. We have 1/3 times 3/4. We're going to use the cross multiplication to easier solving of this. 3 divided by 3 is both equal to 1. So we'll just use that to easily get the simplest form. 1 times 1 is equal to 1 and 1 times 4 is equal to 4. And there we have our answer, 1/4. Easy, right? We're done with the multiplication. Let's proceed with division. Let's solve this 3 over 8 divided by 5 over 8. It's just easy. We just have to get the reciprocal of the second fraction. First, let's copy the first fraction, which is 3 over 8. Then change the operation, which is multiplication. And just get the reciprocal of 5/8, which is 8 over 5. And just multiply them. 3 times 8 is equal to 24 and 8 times 5 is equal to 40. Of course, that's not the final answer because there is still the simplest or lowest term. We have 3 over 5 or 3/5. Let's solve this 3 over 12 divided by 2 over 11. Let's just repeat the process earlier. 3 over 12 times 11 over 2. 3 times 11 is equal to 33 and 12 times 2 is equal to 24. Of course, that's not our final answer. There is still the lowest term, which is 11 over 8. But that's not the final answer either because that's an improper fraction. So we have to transform that into a mixed number. And there we have 1 and 3 over 8. Lastly, let's solve 4 over 7 divided by 2/5. Again, let's just repeat the process earlier. 4 over 7 times 5 over 2. There we have 20 over 14. Of course, that's not the final answer. 20 over 14 or 10 over 7. But that's an improper fraction. So let's transform that into a mixed number. There we have 7, 1, and 3 over 7. And now it's your turn to answer the following questions. I will give you 5 seconds to answer the following questions. Just pause this video. Just like what we did earlier, 2 times 4 is equal to 8, 9 times 9 is equal to 81. Just like what we did earlier, 3 times 1 is equal to 3, 5 times 6 is equal to 30. The simpler form is 1 over 10. Just like what we did earlier, but first, let's transform this mixed number into improper fraction. We have 14 over 5 times 3 fifths. 14 times 3 is equal to 42, and 5 times 5 is equal to 25. But that's not the final answer because that is an improper fraction. So we need to transform this improper fraction into a mixed number. And there we have 1 and 17 over 25 as our final answer. And next is division. I will give you 5 seconds to answer the following questions. You may pause this video. Just like what we did earlier, copy the first fraction, which is 2 over 9, change the operation, and multiply. 2 times 9 is equal to 18, 9 times 4 is equal to 36, or 1/2. And that is our final answer. Just like what we did earlier, copy the first fraction, 3 over 5, change the operation times, and reciprocal, 6 over 1 is 3 times 6 is equal to 18, and 5 times 1 is equal to 5. But that's not the final answer because that's an improper fraction. So we have to transform that into a mixed number. And there we have 3 and 3 fifths as our final answer. And for the next one, first we have to change the operations. 2 and 4 fifths times and reciprocal 5 terms. And then the next one, let's get the improper fraction of the mixed number, which will be 14 over 5 times 5/3. And just use the cross multiplication. There we have 14 times 1 is equal to 14, and 1 times 3 is equal to 3. And that's an improper fraction, so we need to transform that into a mixed number. And there we have 4 and 2/3 as our final answer.
And that is all for our topic for today's video. I hope you learned something. Again, I am Julian Faiti Fadriga from ABM 11YA-9, leaving you with a quote: "There is no shortcut to mathematics. Practice is the only solution to mastering mathematics concepts."